whether you defined your interpretation of home as living in the area code of 647 or living in 21st century Bali, the virus that must not be named has impacted a multitude of people on some level. People nowadays must adapt to how they interact with their loved ones, whether it be through family, friends, significant others, through existing means such as socially distancing themselves as best as possible, limiting the number of people in gatherings, as well as wearing masks to help mitigate the spread of the virus as best as possible. With all this to say, this information isn't really esoteric, rather this is something that is common knowledge at this point. And with that in mind, this isn't really what I am here to talk about in today's video. All this to say, with all that in mind, I really don't think this is anything new for a lot of us since we're going through this in real time. So this isn't what the video is about. What this video is about is discussing what is really the most important thing through this situation. Not the hundreds and thousands of people that have lost their lives, not the hundreds of thousands of people that are getting new cases every single day, not the number of businesses going to business, but let's talk about Mask Musk.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man.
I want to preface this by saying that I am no way by any means whatsoever belittling the current situation that is going on with the virus, and fully understand the implications as to what is going on with the increase of the cases that are happening each and every day, and the lives that have been impacted due to the situation. What this video serves is a moment for people to just appreciate the moments that we do have together while going through the situation, and talking about the minute inconveniences that happens as we try to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones. So sit back and enjoy. All right, with that out of the way, let's begin with the first subject in mind. Mask Musk, or should I say mask breath. I don't know if I can properly put a certain sequence of words as a way of serving justice as to how absolutely abhorrent this phenomenon is. And to give context, when I say mask musk or mask breath, I know it's not me, but I'm not sure if this is happening to a majority of people who wear masks a good chunk of time. And it's that after a certain point, once you hit the 1 hour or 2 hour mark, I believe, I haven't really tested this myself, no pun intended, after a certain amount of time elapses, you notice when you take off your mask and you look at the outer layer of your tongue, you notice there's like a nice little white coating on top of it that is built up of plaque. And my guess is that with the masks that we are wearing throughout the day, over time, we're breathing in a good chunk of the carbon dioxide. I want someone to fact check me on this. This is just an observation. I've noticed that over time, the likelihood in which plaque builds up in your mouth increases very quickly with the masks on. And as a result, I notice with me that my breath starts to smell a little too alive. If you're catching my drift, I'm like, after 1 or 2 hours in, and I take a breath, and I'm like, this is smelling, it's starting to hit a little different. It's starting to hit a little different, you feel me?
Hi, I am very ugly, but you should enjoy the movie anyway. Excuse me, sir. I hope my horrible ugliness won't be a distraction to you.
Not at all, boy!
And I'm not with that, bro. I'm not with that, bro. And I don't really have any solutions to this problem with or an alternative to not wearing masks. But something that I noticed that really does suck from wearing masks for a long period of time is just you got that stink breath, you know what I'm saying? You got that good stink, you know what I'm saying? It's another peculiar observation that I've made within this shitstorm of a year with the pandemic going on is a weird and a very interesting observation. And I say interesting because I believe there can be a nice little parallel between two kinds of people. And the two types of people that I'm referring to is regular average Joe people or consumers doing their day-to-day things, going to stores or any type of establishment, and those who work at those establishments. And an issue that arises consequently with combating the spread of the virus is that a lot of places have updated their level of accessibility, specifically restricting certain services, and one of those services being using restrooms. And the funniest thing, this is a funny thing. So I work at a retail place that I won't mention due to me not knowing the legalities of, I guess, stating the place that I work at. So I'd rather keep that anonymous. And when I do work, on average, there's at least a handful of people that ask if our restrooms are currently open at this time. And to which every time either me or a respective colleague would respond, no, we're not. You can go to a local or a next door establishment to use a bathroom. And I thought recently, I thought this was rather funny because, no, it's not funny that people can't use the bathroom. That's actually pretty fucked up.
You lost an ass.
But I thought it was pretty funny because I kind of saw it from my perspective as well. It's like whenever I would go out for walks for more than 20 minutes at a time, and then eventually I need to use the bathroom, to my realization, I noticed that in most places around my area, there aren't really any open public bathrooms. So I'm like, I think that's the end of my session, so it's time for me to go home. And it makes me wonder, it's like, man, what if you just really had to go and take it, right? Or just need to use the bathroom, and due to the whole COVID situation, a majority of the bathrooms that have been open to the public have been closed, which is completely understandable. But it's like, man, if I gotta go and I really need to go due to my condition, if I have a disability, if I'm pregnant, for instance, and I really gotta go to the bathroom, and I don't really have the distance from me going to a bathroom at my home isn't really an option, what would I do? I don't know, bro. It's tough, bro. Going down through these list of weird obscurities and slight inconveniences in these observations, I believe there can be a positive from this. My third and final observation that I have picked is that with the whole situation of protecting ourselves from this virus, I think people have consequently developed some type of cool trick or a superpower. And what might that be, you may ask? Air bubbles. When I say air bubbles, I'll put it this way, right? A few days ago, I noticed after I went on for a run, And then a week after I had to go to work, I noticed that my body was still relatively sore, and I thought that was rather strange. And in between sessions, I would try to massage my back or just take my fists on both hands and just press against around where my lungs would be, and to kind of just stretch out my back. I noticed that there were like little tight pockets around the cross section of my back, and just had to really stretch them out and just pop them. And I think that's part of just taking in an excess of carbon dioxide into your system, and then putting in excess pressure into the body. So with all this mask wearing and all this mask wearing, in a sense we become little air bubbles that people use for packaging. So if you don't really have much time on your hands and you're in the middle of doing a shift, like a 9 to 5, and you're kind of sore and bored, you can try cracking your back and see what that does. Maybe it'll be like a nice little party trick. So I had to really think about the 3 things that COVID brought to us that we didn't really ask for. I would say it would just be these 3 things. The third one probably being the weirdest one out of the 3 and probably making the least sense. I mean, not this whole video didn't really make any sense whatsoever, but if you stuck through it, that's awesome. And if you haven't already, just give it a nice little thumbs up for your boy. Your boy's trying to get to 100 subscribers as quickly as possible. I wanted to do it by the end of the year, but if it doesn't happen by the end of the year, that's fine. It's still a progress, so I'm always trying to improve the content uploading and stuff, and also having fun with it and reaching out to people who resonate with the type of content that I dish out. But on a semi-serious note, with these little grievances that I brought up, one may ask, is there really a solution to this? And I'm sure there is. I just haven't really thought of one. I was just bored, and I wanted to work on my editing, and I wanted to complain about shit that didn't really matter too much. I guess it mattered enough for me to talk about it in the video, but you get the dealio. So yeah, it's your boy Abdul, aka the Smart Juice Man. I'll see you in another video, and expect some nice cool little edits that I'll be experimenting with along the way. And I think there might be some in this video, if not in the next one. So yeah, ciao.